Nubian Incognito.
The content of this podcast is explicit and must be used for entertainment purposes. The views and content shared on this podcast does not reflect the brand of Nubian Incognito or its affiliates, and we are not legally responsible for actions taken as a result of listening. We do not own the rights to the music shared on this platform.
Whether you're from Barbados or Cameroon, we have a hat for you. On NubianIncognito.com, we have a mega collection of merchandise for you to rock your culture and country. Go check out our collection today.
Yeah, the perception, that's interesting because I remember I used to date a girl and her father drove this Dodge Omni. It's like this little...
Never heard of that.
Yeah, no one has. No one has. So there's like, if you look at this little Dodge Omni, it's like this little punch bug type deal, right? But the guy owned the largest construction company in like New York. Yeah.
But did he ever say why he was still driving a hoopty?
Yeah, because he said, he's like, it's a depreciating asset. See, the problem with black people is that everyone knows the cost of everything, the value of nothing. Yeah, so...
That's deep.
Yeah, so it's sad. It's deep and sad, but, it's just like everyone thinks, like, I'm going to buy my baby Jordans. Your baby doesn't need Jordans.
And he will outgrow it in a month.
Yeah, exactly. And so you spend all this money. It's just like, well, why don't you put that money in a 529 or possibly some other kind of Roth account for yourself instead of, like that. It seems like a lot of, the African-American community wants to look good or be perceived like, it's like there's this chase for respect. And it's just like, man, you don't even need to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Man. It's just like, man, just be cool and be happy and people and just talk to people normal. And all of that stuff just comes. But it's like, I have to wear like a certain suit and tie and all this other garbage right there. And it got to the point where I know personally, I stopped giving a shit. Because once I already had my name recognized and everyone knew who I was, it was just like...
But what about people who are doing that to get to where you were to feel like that?
No one buys it. No one's buying that shit right there.
So what are people buying?
People are buying authenticity. People are buying honesty. People are buying, like... I know that everyone knows what everyone makes, all right? And so if I see someone walking around with French cuff shirts and let's say a suit, and I look at their shoes, I know that they're trying incredibly hard to try to impress someone. And when I look at that, I'm like, dude, that's a confidence issue. That's a confidence issue right there. And so people look at that and they can just tell, you know what, that's cheap. And people that have a lot of money, they're not buying that, let's say that Gucci and that Fendi and everything else. The women, their wives or something like that will, but you don't see guys. When I see a bank teller walking around with the Louis Vuitton belt, I'm like, that doesn't tell me that guy has money. What that tells me is that guy has poor money management skills. So he doesn't understand, like how to budget. He probably has debt. So when I see guys driving around in their 7 Series, I'm like, everyone's like, my God, the guy has a lot of money. No, that guy has a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's nothing to be proud of. So if we want to compare something, it's just like, hey, you want to hear something really sad and pathetic? That homeless guy right there, hey, homeless guy, yeah, me, here's $1. Thank you, sir. That homeless guy now has a bigger net worth than you do. You have a negative net worth of what? How much debt do you have? You have the car, you have student loans, you have what, $350,000? That guy, hey, how much do you have in debt? Nothing? Oh, you got $1. You have $1 net worth. He's worth more than you are.
Wow.
Yes. So it's just like, it bothers me. So when I see like guys like Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and they go over there, they're showing this chain, it's like, don't tell kids to invest in dumb jewelry and shit, man.
But I have noticed a lot of rappers are coming to terms with that idea and like that mindset, and they are encouraging people to invest. With Jay-Z's last album, 444, he definitely kind of honed in on the importance of investing and things like that. But you have a lot of insight on that, and I'm glad you shared that with our listeners. I know we spoke earlier about some other topics, but I wanted to make sure we spoke about this. And you spoke about the signs. I think you said the signs to know when your relationship was.
Yes, the signs. Yes. So, yes. So, I have figured out, just talking with literally all of these women over the years, and then just me dating all these chicks as well, and then just different. It's not just in the United States. It's like
Other countries? Like what? What other countries or women have you dated?
Oh, Czech. Let's see, you figured Czech Republic, Italy, Germany, Austria, Australia, Africa, all over Ethiopia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you met most of these women through...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's just they're cool people.
Cool peeps.
Yeah, it's cool peeps.
International.
And then of course just the traveling and everything else through jobs and everything else. You get a chance that if you just shut up and just listen to people have wonderful stories.
Yes.
Just wonderful. So
yeah.
I like to listen more than anything. And so when I'm talking to people and I'm listening to them about their relationships, that's what's really fascinating. So what I've done is I've just kind of documented, how do you know that you are in a shitty relationship?
Let us know.
All right, here we go. Number one, you know you are in a shitty relationship when you change who you are to make the other person happy. So for that right there, you're a beautiful person as it is right there. And if you come, package deal, this is who I am, right? And if you start to change me, you don't change the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
That's what that guy or that's what that girl wants right there. So that's number one. Number two, you have to defend them or their actions. So they act the fool. They're at you guys go out to dinner and everything else, and then all of a sudden you're out with your parents, and then this person's acting a certain way, or maybe they they blow up and disrespect you, and no, he just had a bad day. He's having a hard day right there. Things are tough right now. Things will be better right here. So you start making up excuses for this person right here, which is crap. The only thing that you should be saying is how amazing and how awesome this guy is, or how amazing and awesome this girl is right there. Not, defending their BS actions right there.
And is this frequently or just in general?
Just in general.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what if they do have an off day?
Now, off days are, they're short, they're intense.
Okay.
All right. And then it dissipates pretty much,
So they should know how to act in public.
Oh, absolutely.
Even when they're upset. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a time and place. You and I go out to eat, and then all of a sudden you have a bad attitude and everything else. What I'll do is I'll just say, listen, I understand that right now something's going on. Let's just finish this meal. We'll leave. And then later on, or when we get outside, you and I will talk. Does that sound fair? And then you'll probably, no, I want to talk right now. Fine, we can talk right now. Let's just pay the bill. And then I'm always going to be coming, bringing it back. Let me just take care of the bill. And then you and I can talk, okay?
Yeah, that's a very adult way to handle it. I hate being in arguments or anything in public. It's just not a good look.
Have you ever been in an argument in public?
Unfortunately.
Whoa.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I've never met anyone who's actually argued in public.
Would you like your brand to have an ad right here on this podcast? Purchase an ad on our podcast today for $50. You don't want to miss an opportunity to get your brand in front of our global audience.
Number 3 is they nitpick and they criticize. Number 4, they question what you're doing, where you're going, all that, who you're with and all this other stuff. And then the partner, number 5, the partner makes all relationship decisions. So, you don't even have a say in it. And then 6 is sex is just lacking. So between 4, 5, and 6, 3, nitpicking, criticism, questioning where you're going. Your partner makes all the relationship decisions. The sex is just not there. Or when you do have sex, Oh, yeah, this is the one. When you do have sex, it is just like the wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It's just like
Thank you.
yeah, it's fast, it's intense, and it's quick. It's just like it's like we're in a race. Whoever comes first, we're done. So like I'm out of here. It's like see you later. Hey, it was good talking to you. Hey, see you. But I gotta go bye. Yeah, so it's like there's no more intimacy.
Yeah.
So it's no more intimacy. Man. So sex is easy nowadays.
You think so? What makes sex easy nowadays?
Because I remember when I was, here's what I had to go through in order to have sex. We had to write notes.
Write notes? Wait,
Yes.
When was this?
It doesn't
Can you
matter.
give us a decade?
Listen, we had to write notes to the girl, like in high school. We had to write notes, like love letters and shit like that.
Wow.
Like legit love letters mixed in with poems and all this other shit right here. And then we'd give it to the girl. And then we'd say, hey, will you go out with me? Right? And so we had to make it official. And then she would say yes. Right? And then so now all of a sudden we're dating, we're hanging out and all this other stuff. And so at the next level is, hey, let me take you out to dinner. And so you'd show up and we'd have you always had like flowers, like awesome flowers. You'd always give her flowers. And then we'd go to wherever we were going. And then you'd pay for dinner. And then you would just walk. You always would hold hands, right? And then you'd go to the movies. And then it was and then you'd just shower her with like maybe some other gifts. And then you were lucky if you would get a kiss that night. Now, all that shit's gone. You don't even have to go through any of that stuff.
But and the thing is, I feel like nowadays when you even attempt to have guys go through that, you're seen as too much, or you're like, who do you think you are to want this and that? Or some guys will say like, oh, if they're not spending anything on you, if they're not having sex with you, I'm like, well then, excuse me, when are we gonna ever get to that part if you think that this is like some type of, I don't even know. Even nowadays, it seems like even asking a girl out officially, like to date, is like something people feel like is not necessary. Like, well, you don't have to ask a girl to be their boyfriend or like date.
It's so disconnected right now. And
It's scary.
It is really scary. So they have this thing called MGTOW. You ever hear of that?
MGTOW.
Oh, yeah. It's scary for women.
What is that?
MGTOW, men going their own way. It is insanely. I would not want to be a woman right now. Not that I am a woman like that, but it is a very, what it is, it's a men's movement where men going their own way. Basically, they're not going to do three things. I mean, you can forget about guys who identify with a red pill. You'll hear red pill. Men are not having babies. Men are not marrying a girl, and they're not moving in. So those are like the three things.
They're not moving what?
They're not gonna get an apartment with you.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can forget moving in, you can forget having kids, and you can forget getting married. Men going their own way. You and I go out, hey, you pay your half, I pay my half. There's no special treatment. You open up a door.
So basically everyone's getting treated like a hoe.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. If anything, there's more respect. You are treated as a complete equal. Because it's just like, hey, look, I am not doing there's no preferential treatment given to you. You are only going to get whatever you give.
Why?
Well, that's the whole thing. So now there's that whole idea of chivalry is dead, right? So guys, MGTOW are basically just saying, you know what, fuck this whole feminist movement. Forget this whole idea of like women. It's like, oh, you want the women, you want to, what purpose does a guy serve nowadays? It's like, hey, you hear women say, I'm independent. I got my own house. I got my own car. I got my own money. I don't need a man for anything, right? That's typically the message that a lot of guys are hearing. So the guys are just like, you know what? Fine, fuck you. I'm done. You know what?
I don't want to live in a world where guys say that.
Well,
I like being taken care of.
You do?
And being pampered. Yeah.
Well, guess what? A lot of that stuff is just like going out.
I want to go where it's not out.
Well, you got to think. So think about it this way. So you got all these guys, like Uptown Charlotte is like notorious for this right here. So I walk down, of course I'm walking down right here, or I get out of a car, and then immediately there's like 12 women just like looking at me, right? And then I have if I wanted to, I could have my pick of the litter and say yes, yes, no, no, no. right then and there, just like that, if I wanted to push it, right? The problem is that all these beautiful women who are making, let's say, $500,000-$600,000, they're all single, right? No guy will ever touch them with a 50-foot pole. You have to wonder why. It's because these women are portraying themselves as like these ultra alpha women, and guys don't want that shit. And so when you look at women who are getting married, they're the hostess, they're the teachers, they're the servers. Bartenders, no, guys don't date bartenders, or at least marry them. And guys are not marrying...
I almost became a bartender.
Yeah,
I was going through hard times.
Yeah.
I went to bartending school, but I never got a bartending job.
I went to bartending school and it sucked.
Yeah, it was a waste of money, but at least I can say I went to bartending school.
I did the same thing. I never actually poured a drink. But that's essentially it. So you got all these beautiful women in uptown Charlotte, and no guy wants to date them. They'll bang them
because they're rich.
No.
Because they're successful.
No, not necessarily because they're successful. What it is that they have this alpha mentality.
But what's wrong with having an alpha mentality?
Because when you go with an alpha male, there's only one alpha.
I want to be the alpha too. Well, can I at least be like half the alpha?
Yeah. So as long as women know. Just like, well, see.
So you're not attracted to women who are more successful than you?
It's not even a matter of success. Success it's not what someone's material, what someone has from a materialistic standpoint. That's completely different. What I'm talking about is the mentality.
So explain your perception of an alpha woman's mentality.
So very, very. I can just tell you about the alpha women executives that I had to be around. Very, very short, very direct, very succinct with their words and everything. So there's a lack of compassion and empathy that's there. And then they're also, I wouldn't say order givers, but it's just very much, you need to do this. And it's just like very, very little room for negotiation or debate or anything like that. So they almost talk to you as if you are their child. And for some guys, it's just like, who in the fuck do you think you are talking to, dude? Just like, you're not going to talk to me that way. And it's like, you talk to your subordinates and you talk to your other, like the people that work for you. And it's like, it's hard for them to turn that dial off from like work to like your personal life just because they found success in being A, B, C, D, or, being a certain way. And they think that it's going to carry over here. So when you look at a lot of sales reps, they're always like talkative, they're always the life of the party, but they're always single. Just look at sales reps. Every freaking sales rep is like single, or they have like terrible relationships.
I think because people who are like salesy just are perceived as like dishonest, and sometimes they kind of are.
Yeah.
But when you say that males don't like, or the average male does not like an alpha female because of their mentality, and they make, I guess, people feel inferior. What about alpha males? Because there's some alpha males that speak to the people they're dating.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the women. And they put that dominance on them. Like, you see some couples, you can tell that the guy's alpha and he's yelling at his girl or telling her what to order, and like,
Yeah. I'm with you. So here's my and I actually talk to people about this stuff right here. So here's my thought on that. Two alphas can never ever date. However, an alpha and a submissive person can totally get it off, whether that's a male or the female, right? So there's this concept called the DISC system, right? It's a personality profile, behavioral profile, right? The D stands for a dominant, or let's say like the alpha person right there. The I stands for the influencer. So these are the people who are just more talkative, right? Like a salesperson. The S are the supporters. These are like your office, like your receptionist, your back-end people who are like the backbone of like businesses. And these are the people who are like the quiet. They don't want the spotlight at all. These are the folks that kind of keep everything, the glue running, or keep everything together, right? And then you get your C's, which are your cautious analyticals. These are the folks that are like your your accountants. These are the people who are just like, incredibly quiet, meek, super analytical. They need all the details and everything else. Kind of like the nerdy people kind of deal right there, right? So each of us have like a personality profile. And so I cannot date or be with someone who is like a strong D or an alpha. It just won't match. It just won't match with me because I'm an alpha, right? Through and through. So if I am dating or with someone who is an alpha as well, we're going to be butting heads like this. And it's like, who's going to back down kind of deal right there. So
those relationships are fun.
Yeah. sex is fun. All right. But so what ends up happening, it's just like, all right, you're good now, but you're like Mrs. Right now. You're not Mrs. Right. You're like Mrs. Right now, right there. So what you end up doing is you end up saying, all right, look, who am I most compatible with? And it's just like there's this push and pull, this yin and yang, right? And so you try to find someone who compliments you.
Yeah.
So the girl who compliments an alpha is someone who's going to be either someone who's an S, like the supporter who doesn't mind being there. So if you look at like Melania Trump, right, and then Donald Trump, they're a perfect S and a D, right there, perfect, right there.
What about? Do you have any examples of an alpha female with an S man that's a celebrity that people could recognize?
Yeah, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton.
You think so?
Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton's a total alpha chick, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's a total alpha. She pees standing up. I did not have sexual intercourse with that woman. All right, so I would say that, all right, so another case right there, it's sad, but, like Liza Minnelli, I don't know if you ever heard of it. Anytime you have, I'm just trying to think who else is like an alpha woman dating, like, let's say a submissive man.
Thank you for listening to the Nubian Incognito podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast channel for more fire episodes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nubian Incognito. If you have any responses or questions to anything you've heard on the show, at us and use the hashtag Nubian Incognito. Check out our website at nubianincognito.com for our fire global collection of jewelry and hats.
On this episode, we are featuring Frankie B out of North Carolina again. And we are actually going to be featuring the song Motion from his recent EP, SWYM. I wonder what that means, but it's dope. Frankie B is a really dope individual. You can follow him on Instagram at TheFrankieB. You can follow him on Apple Music or Spotify at Frankie B. Make sure you go take that out, check it out, download it. And remember, Nubian Incognito put you on.
Your problems and they are just drops. All of it's raindrops in the ocean, yeah. Yeah. Now I'm fucked up. Now I feel like I'm fucked up with loving you with my trust and trusting you with my love. And now I feel like I'm stuck with you. Now I gotta substitute my love for you. Yeah. Keep my emotion and devotion. Yeah. What's new, now what's next? This roller coaster needs to be over. what's next. This roller coaster needs to be over, yeah. I don't know what's making you so cold. Keep your emotion, yeah. Now I'm overheated and I got to try to keep my emotion, yeah. Hot summer, now you coolin' to a simmer. Now it's cuddle season and you ready for the winter. Where was that energy when I needed it? You shouldn't have to wait till the season end. You had to season it. You lost your heat, now a nigga gotta season it. Frankie got the beat and he already freaking it. Sometimes you gotta put your life in reverse and immerse in the hurt and what made you subvert shit. Hot girl, summer is over. Now it's cold, nigga, winter, better kill it if it ain't in first person. None of y'all bitches all summer bought a Birkin. You ain't find no sugar daddy, now you hurtin'. Now you gotta put the work in. Hope your summer was worth it. Hope you get back in church. You discover your purpose. Quit hitting my line, cause now you wanna be certain. It's a cold nigga winter, we just scratching the surface, yeah. Deleting all the messages, removing all that evidence, yeah, of a murder, yeah. And the suicide, it was you and I. Now it's do or die. Too focused now, a nigga on this suit and tie. They say, Frankie, we need a team. I say, you a lie. I got my city grounded. I got my people around me. Tell them if you ain't on my wave, get the fuck from around me. Yeah, you gon' be somewhere drowning. I got my city grounded. I got my people around me. Tell them if you ain't on my wave, get the fuck from around me. You gon' be somewhere drowning. Yeah.
Nubian Incognito believes that music brings black people of all cultures together. Follow us at Nubian Incognito on Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Remember, Nubian Incognito puts you on. We have curated playlists with black music from artists all over the world.
Right now, I can tell you I had lunch over at Aria with a woman executive. And she made about, I think she makes about $630,000.
Wow. It's over $500,000.
Yeah. And, but she's single. Okay,
I wonder if I ever was to become that successful, I would have sugar babies and stuff.
Yeah, you can. Go to seekingarrangements.com.
Find a little boy.
Oh, sorry for stepping.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, go to Seeking Arrangements and then hang out right there. Yeah. But it is real because she asked me, she was like, hey, you mind if we go out to lunch? I said, yeah, sure, what's up? She was just like, hey, I need your honest opinion about something. I said, yeah, shoot. She was like, what's wrong with me? And it was just like this genuine, heartfelt, holy shit. I was like, well, yeah, and I felt like, oh. And,
yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, shit. And then, because I think everyone wants love. I really think everyone wants love. And it's like, what do I need to do in order for me to have love? Like, what's wrong with me? It's just like, I have...
But does everyone want love? Because I feel like now it's kind of the thing to pretend like you don't need it.
It is, but at the end of the day, when you're sick or you're at home alone, and then when you see your friends getting married and they're having these lives and they're playing with their kids and they have all this stuff, there's a void that all of a sudden just and then you start to wonder, and then as you start to push 30, there's these societal norms that kind of dictate to you, or at least subconsciously, that you should be having kids, or you should be, there's these milestones in life, hey, you should be having kids. Hey, in high school, you should be graduating high school. Hey, by this time, you should be graduating college. Hey, by 25, 26, you should be, in a relationship. By 30, you should already have a kid, married. So there's just like these things that society puts on you. And so, subconsciously, we're just like, shit, man, how come I don't have these things right now? And, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm a bridesmaid. How many fucking times am I going to be a bridesmaid? I'm forever a bridesmaid and shit. Everyone, but when is someone going to be a bridesmaid for me?
Oh, that's real.
Yeah. And so this lady, she was like, what's wrong with me? And I was just like, you want me to be honest with you? And she was just like, yeah. And I said, look, guys don't know how to be with you. She was like, what the fuck does that mean? Guys don't know how to be with me. She's like, I'm fun, I'm loving, I'm this. I'm like, I said, guys, think about like how these guys are.
Were you born on a Saturday or named Abidayo? We have a bracelet for you. Check out the Nubian Incognito store today at www.nubianincognito.com.
Nubian Incognito.